Hey everybody, I'm Mike with Local Impact. I'm sitting down with Danny from Bray and Oakley. Danny, if you don't mind, take a second and just tell the people about Bray and Oakley.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm Danny Crum, and I'm the Vice President of Sales here at Brand Oakley Insurance. And I take care of all six locations. I'm in charge of the sales, marketing, and making sure that I take care of all his problems.
Awesome. Well, today we're going to talk about life insurance, Danny. We have a couple questions people are asking. What is life insurance?
Life insurance is one of the most important products to me and in our agency as well, uh, because it's insuring your family. All right, so you insure your home, you insure your car, and you insure your business, and you insure your life with life insurance. So what you're doing is you're planning to, if something did happen to you, that your family can absorb the expenses and things that's left behind.
Awesome. So what is term life insurance?
Term insurance is something that you're going to hear a lot of. It's one of the most popular products. Term is a fixed policy. All right. What I mean by that is you're purchasing a certain amount of coverage for a certain premium. And if it's a fixed life policy, that means it does not fluctuate. And there's terms to that. So it can be a 10-year policy, a 20-year policy, or a 30-year policy. And for example, let's say you purchase a $100,000 face value policy for 20 years. So when you purchase that policy, after you go through the medical exam and questions and things like that, and the policy takes effect, then that policy will stay in effect for 20 years. All right. If nothing happens to you in that 20 years, the policy just dies. It's gone. It's no more. There's no cash value to it. And then, of course, if you do decease, then it pays out. But it's a fixed policy for a certain amount of premium for a certain amount of years.
Sure. I guess do people do that for a cost savings?
Yeah, cost savings, and I can't ever say that one life insurance policy or product is better than another because it really depends on your basic needs. A term policy is great for some people. A whole life policy is great for some people, and that's where you get down and you speak to an agent, and we can really, a lot of times I have people call here for a whole life policy or a term policy, and once I get talking to them, I'll kind of recommend based on what they're telling me, one or the other. It could be completely different than what they called for, but each policy has its place. And yes, a term policy is less expensive usually than a whole life policy.
Sure. And can you take a second and just explain what whole life insurance is?
Yeah, whole life is people hear the first thing they think of is cash value. So with a term policy, there's no cash value to it. There's a face value, right? So you're purchasing this insurance, you've got this face value. If you decease, the company pays out. If it doesn't and you outlive the policy, then it just expires. A whole policy is exactly what it says, a whole life policy. So you're going to pay a certain amount of premium for maybe a lower face value, let's say $50,000 to $100,000. But everything you're paying in over the course of years will build cash value. So there's some cash involved in it, right? So if you never, let's say a term policy lasts for 20 or 30 years, a whole life policy lasts until you decease or until you exhaust the policy. So you've got a death benefit and you've got a cash value. You can have either one of those, but you can't have both. Okay. So you can either let the policy stay in force, use the face value of the policy, or if you needed to, you could withdraw the cash from it as it builds up. The trick to those, in my opinion, is to make sure you're leaving them in force enough to where eventually the cash value of the policy will exceed the premium you've paid in. That's the goal. I like buying these for my kids, for instance, because they're very young. As they get older, hopefully the Lord blesses them to live a long time, then this policy will actually be worth more in cash than we ever paid in premium. Really good policies.
Yeah. So you started to break the kind of tip of the iceberg there, but can you explain how life insurance works?
Absolutely. And this is the personal side of life insurance for me. So if you buy auto insurance, there's a chance that you may use your auto insurance, right? You buy homeowners insurance, you may use your homeowner's insurance. If you buy life insurance, you're never going to be around to make sure that everything was taken care of.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the personal side of it. A life insurance policy, you're buying it for your family. And here's where I really like and encourage people to have an insurance agent. Because again, if your life insurance policy is active, if it's working, that means you're not here to make sure things are taken care of. And that's very personal to us. And that's why, again, I think you should have an agent who can take care of this and make sure you're getting everything that you need per se, making sure that the policy meets what your goal is if you were deceased, and make sure your family's taken care of. But a life policy is exactly that. It works. If you're deceased, it's left behind to take care of any final expenses and things like that that you may leave on your family. If you're a single, say you're a single income family and you're leaving, or even a dual income family, now things are very expensive. It takes, you depend on two incomes. So if you lose one of those and you've got mortgages and car insurance and car payments and college education and stuff like that, it can get very, very challenging, very expensive.
Sure. So how does someone gauge how much life insurance they need?
It's a good question, and a good agent is key to helping you decide that. A lot of times I'll have people call me and they'll say, Danny, I would like a quote on $100,000 policy. Well, my first question is, well, how did you come up with that number? Well, it just sounded right, but there's really more to it. I want to sell you a policy that works, just like your home, auto, or anything else. I'm selling you that policy with the possibility that you're probably going to use it. I hope you don't, but you may. So again, having that conversation with your agent, and we sit down and we try to find out again, assets to expenses. What do you have here? Are you both working? We have to supplement the income of the spouse if you are. We have to pay off your home. We have to make sure your kids can have money for college. We have to make sure we can bury you. And again, we'll start adding some of that up. The one thing that I have found out selling life insurances is people usually need a lot more than what they think they do. And the flip side of that is it's typically a lot more affordable than what they think it is. Most people can afford much more insurance than their initial thought when they came to me, and they need a lot more insurance than what they initially thought when they came.
Yeah. So is life insurance taxable?
It's a good question, and it really depends on the product. We can get into a lot of that, but I'm sure you don't want to sit here and me talk for 30 or 40 minutes. But it really depends. Term policies, no, they're not taxable. When you get anything that could potentially make cash, you could get into some taxable policies.
Awesome. Well, Danny, I appreciate you taking some time to talk to us today.
Been fun, Mike. Thanks.
Thank you.